Welcome to regular session Nogales Housing Authority's Board of Commissioners meeting, 5 p.m. Wednesday, March 6, 2024, City Hall Complex, Council Chambers. Would you call this meeting to order? Would you please rise for a pledge of allegiance? Would you please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Zach. No call to public, Letty? Okay, go to item 4, Director's Report. Ms. Cervantes.
Good afternoon and thank you. On my report today, we have our occupancy report. Under public housing, we have the 217 existing leases. We have 8 ready to lease now. So the units that were under remodernization and intern around status last month are now ready to go. We have our families lined up and we're excited about that. So we have 8 available units and we're excited to get families in there by next month. So we have 1 offline now that we just took offline on Ayuk, and that one needs a lot of work. So the family actually moved out, so we're gonna keep it offline to modernize it. Move-ins, we didn't have any move-ins because those units were not ready. We thankfully did not have any move-outs, no transfers, and we did conduct 3 interviews. Our percentage for the month is 96.8. Under our maintenance report, we had 97 work orders, out of which 91 were completed. The last 6 that were not completed were because they came in this last week, actually, as a response to our inspector doing some inspections. So they should have been done by this week, actually. So we had 2 units in make ready, and we had 9 callbacks. Under the Housing Choice Voucher Program, 160 executed leases, 2 on the street, and now we have 15 available. We actually had 1 move out and the rest lost their vouchers due to excessive time limits. So we had already extended their voucher and they still didn't find anything, so they gave it up. So now we have 15 vouchers to work with. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Bojorquez.
I mentioned that there's some openings at the Bowman complex. Is any of those any Section 8 vouchers?
We have 1. We have 1 housing choice voucher at Bowman.
That's moving out?
Oh, no. Oh, you mean from the move-outs? No, they're not.
Okay.
No, sorry. No,
Okay.
I misunderstood your question. No, sir.
Belong to the Section 8?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other? Continue.
Project-based vouchers, which are our Bowman, Mr. Bojorquez, we have the 20. We've had 19 available for months, carrying on months. Right now, we were actually going to toss a coin if both of the candidates show up, because we had given this one lady the opportunity and then out of the blue, she stopped answering. So we have sent her a letter as well, letting her know that she has till the 16th of this month to respond to Bowman now, because she's done with us. She qualified and everything went through, all the paperwork was done with us, and we referred her to Bowman, but she never showed up to Bowman. Instead of losing more time, we have a runner-up that's actually going through a process as well. If the lady ends up unfortunately showing up and the man has already been approved, she'll go back to the waiting list and wait her turn for the next one. That's our project-based vouchers. We had no move-ins, no move-outs, and three interviewed. Stability vouchers, we have our 5 stability vouchers, 3 executed under lease. We still have 1 on the street that should move in by April 1st. And we have the one poured out that's been in Phoenix trying to find somewhere to settle in. We do not have any more stability vouchers. On the emergency vouchers, again, those we could not assign anymore after December. So we have the 12 that were assigned, and we have them all leased out. So we don't have anything available under emergency housing voucher. Do you have any questions on my report?
Any questions? Oh, thank you. Continue.
Thank you.
Okay. So we move on to number 5, housing resolution. Number 1, consideration and possible action of housing resolution 2024-03-03. Resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authorities of the City of Nogales approving and adopting the Nogales Housing Authority's operating budget for April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025. Okay. Any comments, or would you
I
give us
do
a,
have a couple of
give us a
comments.
little bit of
Okay.
details on it, Marita, please?
It's been quite a learning process here. However, we do have some amendments to make or requests for modifications on this, being that our 1% increased salaries are not reflective of the budget as prepared. And we also may come across some insurance from some insurance costs that have that will increase for this coming year. With that being said, the way it's been recommended, and both Lindsay, who prepares our budget, and the HUD field office recommends that we go ahead and have the board approve the operating budget as you have, even though I do want to go into a little bit more, dive a little bit deeper into it. And we do have a form, Chairman Maldonado, that you would fill out just stating, please complete the below information if the Board of Commissioners has approved the operating budget presented to them, but has requested specific modifications. So on here, we would ask for the specific modifications so Lindsay can go ahead and modify prior to our submittal. With that being said, I also want to add, it's very difficult to work with budgets that are not aligned. What I mean by that is that the housing's fiscal year is from April through March. The city's is July through June. We can request that ours is changed. However, the application that was sent to me after researching and asking specifically says that in order to even qualify to apply, we cannot be in troubled status. So moving forward, there's light at the other end of the tunnel. And once we get out of that troubled status, we can apply to change to have our budgets aligned. And that would help a lot, especially with these kinds of I don't want to call them barriers because they're not. It's just
Maneuvers.
It's just a gap because of the time when we plan as the housing and then the city plans its own budget. So that's what's causing that gap. So eventually I look forward to closing that gap. Any questions on that?
Marita,
Yes, sir.
on the insurance, which one of all the categories,
It would be all 3 together. It would be,
property, liability, and workers' comp? not the automotive and all those.
Yes, in total, ours will increase. Our portion of it will increase.
Commissioner Bojorquez?
Marisa, I don't know if you were here when I asked John and Roy, on the salaries,
Yeah.
are any of these people that have?
That's the mic.
Oh, sorry. On the salaries, which says overtime, are these employees exempt or non-exempt? That are, you're allocating $2,500 like for the finance manager and the housing specialist. Are they hourly employees?
Yes, they are.
They are?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. And the other question I had on the salaries is, I noticed that the maintenance supervisor is earning less than some of the maintenance workers.
And that was as a result of the study and the changes that were made. I don't know if Mr. Bermudez, you can speak to that on behalf of that.
Commissioner Bojorquez, the reason behind that, and I know there's a discrepancy, and those are things that we need to adjust come these next couple of months are important to make sure that we balance those out. The maintenance supervisor or / inspector that left had 5 or 6 years of experience. So the new one that was hired starts in at year 1. Eventually, he's going to go up and surpass
He's talking.
the workers themselves. However, does not reflect what it is in our current budget, and that really needs to be fixed.
Okay, so you're saying that the housing inspector that for the public housing is earning 34,702, and the maintenance supervisor is earning 34,705. Is that the same person?
No, no, sir.
No. So you have two different people.
Yes, so the maintenance supervisor has his own responsibilities and duties in overseeing our maintenance department, while the housing inspector does the inspecting and contracting and
Yeah, 'cause
those
I was
types of
going by what
duties.
Mr. Bermudez said, that the housing inspector that left had 5 years experience. Are they comparing his salary with the maintenance supervisor's salary?
The housing inspector for 2025, Mr. Bojorquez will be at 32,870. So it's actually going down from the 2024 budget. That's some of those amendments that Marita was talking to the mayor about that we need to change. And the maintenance supervisor is going from 34,705. He'll be at 35,042 in next year's budget.
What column are you looking at? Because I'm looking at the column here, and it's
Absolutely. The columns that you're looking at with the payroll schedule will need to be amended.
Oh, okay.
So Maritza will be bringing an amendment for the mayor to sign because of that gap between the two budgets. So if you look at the housing inspector, it's actually going down, Mr. Bojorquez, because he's a brand new employee. The housing inspector that was there previously left, and he had years of service that the new guy doesn't have. So that's going to actually go down. The total difference between what you guys are looking at and what Maritza will be bringing forward for amendment is $240 less.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Dahl?
Yes, it's just that I want to make sure that I understood right, and on the change of budgets, or in other words, lining them up. Right now, it's a drawback, and this is going to simplify it for you to be able to have work on both budgets at the same time.
It would simplify a lot of things, being that it's a lot easier to be on the same fiscal year than we do. As a matter of fact, we're the only housing authority within our region under our portfolio manager in Phoenix, and under our district, We're the only housing authority that has this fiscal year. Everybody else has the June, July. And that's how it came up at first, because she actually missed sending me an email that I needed to have for our 5-year plan. And that's how she realized it, because when she pulled everybody up, she's like, oops. And it was already, my 5-year plan had already gone through, and she was barely sending out notices as fair warning, what to expect coming up, but mine had already passed.
Thank you for bringing this up.
You're welcome.
Mr. Doe, I'll give you a perfect example of what's going on with that. Tavo and I were talking about how the insurance might be going up. We haven't determined that yet, but we're going to make sure that we incorporate that into the budget. That's not in her budget. That's why the insurance, when we ask the insurance company that covers all of us to allocate insurance, depending on how many buildings you have and all that, that hasn't got here, so it's not incorporated into your budget. But once they're both on the same, then we'll take care of it. Mr. Mayor, I apologize for the interruption.
You're fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Houston.
Ms.
And at a glance, if I created the spreadsheet as I mentioned I would, and at a glance you could see last year's budget opposed to this proposed budget. Now, I mentioned earlier that Lindsay prepares this, and it's based on formulas and the actual PUM, which is the per unit month formula income. So that's how we get funded. And a lot of, if you look at the actual budget, there's only 2 budgets with actual numbers, and the rest is just explaining the formula. The beginning is explaining the formula and how it works and how they generate it. So according to the formula, we earn 287.54 per unit per month. And that's how they calculate it from there. So that's how we get our budget allocated. And then based on that, there's other fees that go in. And I do have a question, and I will take it. I did ask, however, Lindsay has not gotten back to me. Last year, we did not have down here this amount. They allocated this amount, $45,900, in lieu of taxes. I am questioning that, and I'm letting you know ahead of time that I'm questioning that, because I don't know if it's something new that they had to do. But I was not aware of it, and it will be something that I will question and get back to you, because we've never had that before. So it was allocated there. It doesn't mean it's spent. I don't know how we would use it. However, it is incorporated in the total, counted in the total. So I just wanted to bring that up, that I will be adding that to questioning Lindsay about it. Yes, sir.
Was that requested by HUD?
Not to us. And like I said, it's really hard when I'm given a tool. This is the way it works. So I'm given a tool. It's very plain and simple, and it's just fill in the blanks as to these amounts. And you fill in the blanks. You submit your actual schedule, your payroll schedule, and they come back with a budget. And like I said, I've been trying to get a hold of her since last week, and she has not been available. She had told me at first that her computer was down, and then she said it crashed, and then she was going to get one overnight. And long story short, she has not gotten an answer to me. She has not gotten back to me, but I will question this, and I will get back to you, because I will not vouch for something I do not know what it is. And that's why I put it down here.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
When the housing authority was autonomous, it used to pay the payments in lieu of taxes because it wasn't part of the city. But then when the city became a department, when the housing authority became a department of the city, they took that pilot tax because the city doesn't pay any taxes, any property tax. So they included the housing authority in that category. So I don't know who brought it back. That's why I'm asking, is that a request from HUD?
And to be honest with you, the lady that prepared our budget this year is new. It's not the one that usually does it. And being that they don't just work our area, she might have just put it in there because she does it for other authorities, but that's why I'm going to question it, because we have not had that before.
And she came up with that amount because
Yes, she put it in there.
payments in lieu of taxes, instead of paying for each property, they just bundle it into one and have a one-time tax.
And if you look, there's no calculation. It's on page, you can find it on page 4 of 17 on the bottom. You'll see other general expenses, and that's where it's at.
Okay.
And there's no explanation or calculations or anything. But I will get back to you with whatever response I get from her.
I'm sure that the county's going to be happy.
Commissioner Gradius.
It's better to put it in lieu of having to do something with our budget later.
Later.
When we do those amendments, we can either remove it or whatever we need to do with that. My other question was, are you fully staffed right now? Are we missing any personnel?
We're fully staffed.
Great.
Thank you. And yes, I agree, but I want answers. Thank you. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Just what are you going to be doing the amendments? Is there any way that we can kind of balance the budget a little bit more?
Yes, yes, definitely. Like I said, it's based off of that tool. And when I even submitted the tool, I asked her, I said, can we please meet prior to you preparing the budget? It's my first rodeo. That was exactly my email sent to her. It's my first rodeo. I'd like to discuss this with you. And she never got back to me, and with like 2 weeks after she sent the budget, and I was already prepared. So now we're backtracking, but yes, there are a lot of things. If you see it up here, Mr. Gradius, you'll see our actual expenditures right now and our balances. Sorry, this is not formulated, but it should be February 26th up here. And these are our balances as of now. So yes, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be moved around. And I think it was just generalized before. Another thing that I want to add is that there's a lot of stuff that I'm hesitant in moving completely because I don't know if I just haven't had the need to use it within the time that I've been here, or if it's something that we haven't used looking back at other years. So that would be another thing I'm taking this year as a testing year to see exactly what we need to move, what we use, what we don't use. Another thing that if you notice on here, the way it's broken down, 4190, and then you have all the ... When you look at the actual budget, it's just 4190. Within our department, they've been breaking it down throughout the years, and it makes it a lot more complicated when exactly it should just be for our use, internal use, and not in general. So I want to align that. In addition to that, if I may ask you guys actually, is I want to start reporting budgets monthly, but I'm not sure how in depth you want me to go within the monthly reports. What you want to see in general, something like this, or you want to see a full budget, I'm not sure, but I want to start reporting budgets monthly.
Go ahead, Commissioner Montiel.
Marisa, just for clarification and also just so that we are all clear on the same page, what happens when people leave and so forth. We have the numbers report every month. I'm for, providing that information. That way it's totally transparent.
Exactly. But would you like it this format?
That format. What program do you use that? Is that
Excel?
Is that Excel? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Commissioner Bohorquez.
Marisa, are you still getting monthly financial reports from Lindsay?
Yes, we are.
So I think that would be enough information for us instead of going through doing the whole budget, isn't it? Because they show the
Actually,
general ledger and all those.
I get what they send and I put it on my spreadsheet, which is a lot more basic than what they sent. But if you rather see what they send, that's fine.
Whatever's whatever's easier for you.
I'm here for whatever you guys suggest.
Commissioner Montiel?
Yeah, because you're paying them, or they're paying them $10,000 to do this, so might as well,
Use
get
their
the
reports.
from them
Okay.
and then put them in your Excel program, and that's just a lot easier for you too.
Okay.
And they're
okay.
just so easy to maneuver and look at, and
At a glance.
yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
I'll do that. Thank you.
Because you do get monthly reports from them, right? You get the
Yes, and then they reconcile with our finance department.
journal entries and all that.
Correct. Any other questions?
The other question I was gonna ask you, Manita, I know on your budget, we talked about some recreational lighting and activities that you were gonna add. Is that already did you figure out anything?
That would be from our capital,
Okay,
our 5-year plan, not from operations.
okay,
But thank you for asking and remembering.
yep. Thank you. Any other comments, questions? So with that said, okay, there was, the motion was made and all that, all in favor to approve as is, and knowing that we're gonna have an amendment, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Any future agenda items, Marita? Well, for me, it's just basically those, we're talking about maybe doing a little recreational park with lighting in a section where Marita has some areas, for a little mini playground for the kids around the onset facilities.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Montiel.
Yeah, Maritza, just on a personal note, I've been driving around, I visited with you, and the limited knowledge that I have, things look really good. I love to see the kids playing out, using the resources there. The facilities are being used. I was wondering about the facility on Western across Circle K. Can you tell me a little bit about who's using that and how they're using it? I know
Circles of Peace.
but what exactly do they do there?
They have a youth center and they also serve elderly. So being that we have seniors living right behind the facility, it's not designated as a senior area, but we have a lot. The population actually would probably be up in the 80% of elderly. So they just walk over. And the last time I spoke to them, they were correlating their program to where the seniors were teaching the youth like knitting and activities as such, and the youth were teaching them how to use technology. So that's how they're using, but it's basically the youth center, but they are bringing in others as well. I'm not sure exactly, or should I say we're not as informed as to what's going on directly with them as we are with the other facility, because they have a contract on their own. So basically they have the facility for now. So it's not an integrated effort where the gym is. So the gym is an integrated effort towards self-sufficiency for our tenants.
Yeah. And the reason I mentioned that is because I've attended a couple of events with Judge Maley, and I think it's just a great way, Mr. Bermudez, to kind of utilize that facility too. I know that they do great things. Circles of Peace is amazing. They do so much for our community here. So it's wonderful to see how the city collaborates with stakeholders like the Circles of Peace. And so on that note, just the fact that, all the facilities are being used for the public is really a good thing for the city and all the residents.
And if I could add to that,
Go ahead.
on facilities, we have the child care center that hopefully, once we get all this out of the way, we can start working that as well through partnerships, because we do have the facility that's not being used.
Tell me about the childcare.
We have,
Now that you mentioned it.
one of the units in Las Americas was actually completely converted into a child care center.
And how will that be utilized? Anybody
As
sign up?
so we
with a kid?
provide childcare to our tenants, and we could bring other community members in, but our tenants would have priority.
Is that a fee basis?
I'm sorry?
Is it on a fee basis?
Not for our tenants.
But how about someone that's not a
Yes.
tenant?
Yes.
Okay. Can you provide more information later about the fees and so in the next meeting?
I will start
fees
working
and-
on that. We don't have anything
Once you
set
have
on
it.
that.
Once you have
Actually,
it.
it was
great.
an unknown hidden treasure to me when I walked in.
Oh, those are the
saw-
best.
And saw what it was.
Yeah, those are the best.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. If you just provide us more information
Sure.
once you get it all together. Thank you.
I sure will. Thank you.
Commissioner Montiel, that building has been not used in years. We went over there and I was amazed of the facilities and the possibilities. I want to congratulate publicly Maritza, because in a short time she's been here for 8 months, I can honestly say that housing department division has done a 180. And she's been here for 8 months. I'm sorry, 80. She's very innovative. We're trying to build partnerships. We're trying to do a lot of outreach and facilitate more programs. And that's what she's doing. However, she's been here for 8 months, and I think she's done a great job so far. Thank you, Maritza.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Commissioner Gradius.
I received comments from Las Americas, Siqueiros, and McNabb about young kids after school hanging out, loud music, don't belong there, possibly visiting people that do belong there. Before, law enforcement used to provide a lot of checks. I don't know how the relationship with the police department, I'm sure it's great, but if we can integrate some more checks, that'd be greatly appreciated. They wanted to remain anonymous, but can we just provide additional checks of those areas?
And one of the lighting areas that I had mentioned to Chairman Maldonado was actually Las Americas. We need lighting in that park.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Boneas.
Are we working on the video surveillance system or not? Have you ever checked into that?
We actually have received all the quotes. We've gone through the process and we're closing out. We have to allocate our 2020 grant by the end of this month. And they were not part of the 5-year plan for that grant, but they are in the next one. So as soon as we get those contracts closed up, actually this week, Friday, we have the last appointments with those contractors. Next week, I want to start, but we already have our contractor and everything lined up. Yes, we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Maritza. You've done a great job, just like Mr. Bermudez says. Keep it up, and we're here to work together.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate your support and everything for our community moving forward.
Okay, with that said, any future agenda items? Move to adjourn this meeting. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?